Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I want to talk about my thoughts on the Elden Ring Nightrein closed network test. Now if you don't know, while I have played some of Elden Ring and a couple of other Souls games, I haven't actually beaten it yet. To my credit, I've gone pretty far in the first Dark Souls, I just need to continue it, and I've enjoyed my time in Elden Ring. I just need to get back to that too. But despite me not being the biggest Souls fan in the world, I still had a lot of fun playing Nightrein. If you don't know, Elden Ring Nightrein is a roguelike, and I haven't played too many roguelikes, mainly the two Hades games, but I love them so much that I really need to try out more in the genre. But Nightrein has you and two other players go onto the world and fight bosses and level up. From what I can tell, it still has the same gameplay as Elden Ring, and even in multiplayer it feels really good. But instead of making a character, you can choose 4 different classes of characters. Now when I play Souls games, I usually go for the basic guy in armor with a sword and shield, and that's who I played as for my first run, the Wilder. And my first run honestly had one of my best runs. Now as I kept playing I did get up to this point again, but this being my first run was crazy how far we got. But I'm pretty sure it's mostly because the other 2 players were actually really good at the game, and I was just kinda there. But I also tried out the Duchess and the Recluse, and I also really like them both. The Duchess could attack pretty fast, which I always love, but the Recluse can use magic as their starting weapon. I have never used magic when playing Souls games, but I might change with this, because I love being able to shoot magic from afar. This is also making me want to restart Elden Ring, but primarily use magic from the start now. Since it's a roguelike, at the start of every run you're at level 1 and have to defeat enemies to get their runes to level up and grab new weapons. You might notice in my first run I'm level 1 for a while, and that's because I didn't realize this aspect of the game, which is honestly really embarrassing. But as you level up, you can also find items and weapons around from the enemies you defeat to get some better gear. The main objective of this game is to defeat bosses, and if my information is correct from a friend who actually plays these games, these bosses are actually from previous Souls games, which is really cool. The only one I actually recognized was Market. Whenever you die, your teammates are able to revive you by hitting you, which I thought was a pretty fun mechanic, though I missed a lot, so I'm sorry teammates. The run will only end when all 3 of you go down during a boss fight, so if you're the only one left, there's a lot of pressure on you. There's also rain that will hurt you really badly if you're caught in it, and it's always really funny to me, with how fast it'll creep up on you, and how you can only think about running to safety. There was this great moment where I was playing as the Recluse, where we had just cleared out a little encampment of soldiers, and then suddenly we hear,
"There is no escape for thee."
And then Margaret just comes down and starts attacking us out of nowhere. I got such an adrenaline rush when we had to start fighting him. And Margaret isn't that big of a deal in comparison to some of the other Elden Ring bosses since he's the first one, and we had just leveled up and healed. But then it started raining. We started to run, trying to find a way to stay out of the rain. But Margaret wasn't done with us yet. So as we're running, Margaret is chasing us. Every time we get ahead of the rain, we stop to fight him, doing a couple of hits here and there before we have to start running again. We are running around rocks, jumping off cliffs, just to stay ahead of the storm. We finally get to a place where the storm stops and we defeat Margaret.
Shadow of the fell omen shall not wane.
Overall, it's not a huge boss fight or anything, but having it come out of nowhere and having to run from the rain while fighting him is honestly an experience I won't forget anytime soon. But yeah, I found the game incredibly entertaining. On the first network test I woke up really early for, I played until the very end and even had the game close while I was in there. I usually feel pretty stressed when I play Souls games, but since this one has 2 other players to pitch in, it didn't feel as stressful to me. And I'm sure if you play this game with friends, it'll be a ton of fun to go through all the days, but right now just playing with randoms, I'm having a lot of fun that I honestly didn't expect to have. I loved having birds fly me across the map and running up the sides of cliffs. It was so cool. It was weird that there also wasn't any fall damage. Even when I learned you could fall from really high, I still felt weird about it. Though make sure there's a bottom to the drop or you'll still die. The game is also still breathtaking with some of its visuals, especially the skyboxes. But overall it's still Elden Ring, with just a little bit of a twist. Hopefully in the future they'll do a more open test so more people can try out the game for themselves, because I just can't get over how much fun I have had in this game so far. I honestly had very little interest in the game until I played it. It's just so fun. It's making me want to go back and finally finish Elden Ring after so long. Maybe this time I'll actually try out some magic. Let me know what you think about Elden Ring Nightrein, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye.